Published 1949 EDT, the 24th of September 2017. Updated 1949 EDT, the 24th of September 2017. Pedro Caixinha has brought in 11 new players and spent over £8 million in transfer fees, so Rangers fans would be somewhat annoyed if they didn't see some kind of improvement in their team. Yet for all Caixinha's big spend, the golfing class between the two sides was there for all to see. He has brought in almost an entire team, yet they could not lay a glove on Brendan Rodgers' side. There remains a lot of work to be done at Rangers, and Caixinha has yet to prove he is the man for the job. Pedro Caixinha shouts in earnest on the touchline as Rangers slide to defeat against Celtic. To question is, do the Rangers board have enough confidence to throw another cash lump sum at him? He has been in post for 6 months and was trusted with a significant transfer budget, yet he has still to make an impact. Where is his big result? Where is that game which shows he is getting things right? Celtic's biggest win at Ibrox, it happened on Caixinha's watch. Aberdeen's first win at Ibrox in a quarter of a century, it happened on Caixinha's watch. The club's most embarrassing European result of all time, it happened on Caixinha's watch. Had Rangers been offering up more of a challenge, then we could excuse Caixinha's curious public outcries of late. He has been talking about mind games being played by Rodgers and, on the day of the game, revealed he was keeping a record of the refereeing decisions that go for and against his team. In the aftermath of Saturday's match, he was at it again, deflecting attention away from his side's performance with his run-in with Scott Brown. If all of this was designed to get the Rangers fans on side, surely he would be better focusing on what is happening on the pitch rather than off it. Saturday's first Old Firm encounter of the season, however, provided a routine 20 win for a Celtic team that, for much of the second half, was coasting in second gear with one eye on Wednesday's Champions League encounter with Anderlecht. After withstanding Celtic's early onslaught, Rangers contended for the remainder of the opening period, and who knows what would have happened had referee Craig Thompson pointed to the spot when Alfredo Morelos went down under Josu Simunovic's challenge. Lee Griffiths celebrates with a green and white Celtic scarf after scoring at Ibrox. Second period could not have been more different. Celtic were simply too strong. They were better in every department, and Tom Rodgick's strike and Lee Griffiths' clinical finish had them on easy street. Shortly after the hour mark, Celtic were in their comfort zone. It showed the confidence that runs through the team and, of course, the way they were able to dictate the tempo. If required, they could step up the pace, roar through the gears and score at will. But the damning fact is that Celtic didn't need to play to their exceptionally high standards to beat their rivals. As Celtic turn their attention to European football, Rangers will try to pick themselves up to face Hamilton and then St Johnstone away. Going to face Tommy Wright's side is a test for any team, and Caixinha cannot afford any slip-ups. His very future depends on it. It is clear that there remains a lot of work to be done and more quality invested in the Rangers team before they can even consider offering a challenge to Celtic. But if you look at the way some of his new signings performed on Saturday, you are entitled to ask whether that £8 million has been money well spent. The gulf between the Glasgow rivals remains huge, and Caixinha has shown no sign that he is the man to close it. If there was one positive to come out of Saturday's Old Firm game, it was the performance of Ross McCrorie. Pedro Caixinha was clear about what he thinks of the 19-year-old defender in the days leading up to the game. Ross is going to be one of the best centre-halves in history, not just for his club, but for his country, was how the Rangers manager described him. Now that is some statement after this very inexperienced young lad played just 30 minutes of competitive football against Partick Thistle in the Betfred Cup. Honestly, I'd never heard of Ross McCrorie. But this weekend he was thrown into the deep end against Celtic. With countless injuries to the Rangers backline, he had a chance to become everything that his manager said he could be, even though this was going to be against the most prolific strike force in Scotland. Ross McCrorie was a rare positive for Rangers as he came in for his Old Firm debut. It was a huge ask for a teenager, but he certainly didn't disappoint. A first league start and an Old Firm debut to boot. Although Rangers lost the game 20, it could have been more had it not been for McCrorie's left defensive impact. Of course, he is far from the finished article. He is young and still has a lot to learn. But Saturday's experience will stand him in good stead. I really hope he is the type of professional who is going to work tirelessly at his weaknesses and understanding of the game. If he does, Rangers and Scotland will have a true gem of a player in the ranks. I watched Lewis Moultrie firsthand when Motherwell faced Rangers in the opening game of the season. I was keen to see how good he was after hearing he was being watched by numerous clubs and needed to see for myself if he was worth the hype. He didn't have the greatest of afternoons, but, with transfer disruption going on, it wasn't hard to piece together that his mind was elsewhere. Fast forward 4 weeks and he's now living up to all the talk. He causes defences endless problems and is scoring goals. His display in midweek against Aberdeen was outstanding. Even Derek McInnes stated he was the best player on the park. Coming from a manager who failed in a £400,000 bid during the transfer window, that was an interesting comment to make. I just wonder if McInnes, who commiserated with Moult after the Dons' 10 win at Fir Park on Sunday, will be back in for the Motherwell hotshot at the next opportunity.